Did I break a rule?
She has to.
Just leave this call or?
Yeah, just leave it. Yeah, leaving the convention.
Just this? Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Thank you.
Could you please make sure he's permanently kicked out of this convention, please?
You want him out of the convention?
He needs to get going permanently out of the entire convention. You need security to follow that person.
What did you do?
This is Ralph Victoria, who's person who doxing my family. This is Ralph Victoria, who's taking pictures without my permission.
I can't read it.
If you're not going to get it, I can't speak.
Where is he? He just walked out. Okay, he's out the door. Keep him out of here. We cannot go out until he does something.
He just took pictures without my permission. Excuse me, sir.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a quick question. I need everyone, please. There will be no recording of this at all.
What you are seeing here is a picture Brianna Wu stole from the site known as Autism Speaks. This is what she used to attack Gamergate supporters and essentially bait them into going after her so she could play the victim and basically say how Gamergate is filled with nothing more than a bunch of misogynistic men that hate women. I mean, and I'm going to show the picture right now. It's coming up on the screen. Again, this is from autismspeaks.com, and this is pretty low. Again, I understand opinions are subjective, and if you don't agree with something, that's fine. But if you have to go to this level, to steal something, to steal a picture, just to prove a point, just to attack a certain group of people whose opinions you don't agree with, and then get upset and play the victim and act like a crybaby when they come after you, to me is just downright despicable, and it's disgusting. Honestly, there really shouldn't be any place for this, and the fact that she's been able to lie and manipulate so many people, and people actually believe what she's doing is right, pisses me off to no end. And like, how can anybody actually be okay with this? And I know there's going to be social justice warriors, and I know there's going to be feminazis that are going to disagree, but seriously, this is no place for this. Plagiarism is wrong. If you did this at any sort of job, you'd be fired immediately. Like, and this is acceptable. This is okay. You're totally okay with this, social justice warriors and feminazis. You're totally okay with this. Yet, God forbid, if a man calls you out on what you're doing, all of a sudden we're the problem. We're the misogynist. You know, this is just the logic here just astounds me. I think I'm losing IQ points just thinking about it. But this is okay. You're okay with this, but we're the enemy. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Anyways, I mean, if you want a greater sense of how much of a professional victim Brianna Wu is, I'm gonna play a video by TRDL. It's TLDR, sorry. It's absolutely fantastic, and it really goes into great depth. In 4 minutes, I might add, about how much of a narcissist and how much of a fraud Brianna Wu is.
Teal dear, Brianna Wu is a narcissist and frankly a despicable human being. But let's look at why, shall we? So, for those of you who know this story already, and indeed for those of you who don't, permit me to either give you a brief recap, or to indeed simply set the scene for you. A few days ago, a woman was found murdered in her home. This woman was Amber Lynn Straw. She was a 30-year-old mother of 4, living in Port Orchard, Washington. Her killer, a man by the name of David Kallick, took photographs of her dead, strangled body and posted them on the internet image board of 4chan. Now, these are the actions of a deeply disturbed human being who actually has a past violence rap sheet, including domestic violence, harassment, drug possession, assault, drunk driving, and the destruction of property. Now, most normal people would react to this sort of thing by extending a general sense of condolence or general shock at the tragedy. At worst, people might display a cold indifference. But not Brianna Wu. She instead took to Twitter to post this. Police investigating 4chan linked to murdered woman. Gamergate. Tell me how my life isn't in danger. Brianna, I have a simple question for you. What depths are you not willing to sink to to further your own agenda and garner more attention for yourself. Is there a limit? Now, much as I don't want to put this tragic and frankly barbaric act behind anything else, I feel as though I have to in an attempt to actually force some basic sense of human decency into this. 4chan is not Gamergate. In fact, if you go to 4chan and you post anything related to Gamergate, you will be instantly banned. 4chan has actively distanced itself from Gamergate as much as possible. In fact, 4chan is on the side against Gamergate, saying that there is no problem here. So, following that simple train of logic, this man is not associated with Gamergate in any way at all, and his actions are resoundingly condemned by any rational human being. So, Brianna, this entire story is about the actions of one psychologically deranged human being, someone who required a lot of help and support that they were not getting, and it resulted in this absolutely tragic and horrendous event from happening. And yet, you want to make it all about yourself. Never mind that it actually proves that there is not enough support for people who have mental problems and conditions. Never mind the 4 children who came home to find their mother murdered. Never mind that you are blaming a website and a movement that are on complete opposite ends of a spectrum to each other. It's all about you. Of course it is! Because you are the personal victim of every tragedy that ever happens everywhere. Because you are a straight-up narcissist. In fact, here is a list of traits of narcissism that I think you really should hear and see how many of them apply to you. 1. An obvious self-focus on interpersonal relationships and exchanges. 2. A lack of psychological awareness. 3. Difficulty with empathy. 4. Problems distinguishing the self from others. 5. Hypersensitivity to any insult or imagined insult. 6. Detesting those who do not admire you. 7. Using other people without considering the cost of doing so. 8. Pretending to be more important than you really are. 9. Claiming to be an expert at many things. And finally, 10. The inability to view the world from the perspective of others. How many of those apply to you, Brianna? How many?
And welcome to Young Hero Rants, the show in which I rant about whatever aspect of the world is annoying me lately. I am your host, ThatKidDouglas, aka the Young Hero, the internet's loneliest D-list personality, and let's get right into it. First of all, I'm not going after Brianna Wu because she's transgender. I judge the character of a person based on their actions, not their sexual orientation. The truth is, I have no problem, absolutely no problem with transgenders, gays, lesbians, and bisexuals. No problem. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Simple as that. But within that same breath, it doesn't matter whether you're, straight, gay, transgender, lesbian, bisexual. It doesn't matter what race, ethnicity, or gender you are. If you're doing shitty and despicable things, I'm gonna call you out on it. And Brianna Wu most definitely is a very shitty, despicable human being. And I take great pleasure in calling out shitty and despicable human beings because that's kind of what this show does. So, let's get into it. Brianna Wu is the very definition of a fraud. In fact, Brianna Wu isn't really even a woman. She's a man. She's transgender. While I was researching Brianna Wu for this very rant, I found out that she was a man called John Walker Flint. She was a man most of her life. I mean, and if you've seen the intros of my video with pictures, that's Brianna Wu when he was a man known as John Walker Flint. Now again, I wouldn't have a problem with this if Brianna wasn't such a lie manipulating bitch. But I do. Here's the thing. To say that Brianna Wu is a master manipulator is it's an immense understatement. It really is. You claim to speak for all women, Brianna, and you claim that you're trying to blaze a positive path for women in the video game industry, yet you're barely a woman. You haven't been a woman for most of your life, you've been a man, so how would you know what women go through, or what makes them tick, or who they are as people? You don't know. It seems to me that you're just trying to garner sympathy and play the victim to garner attention because that's all you're good at doing. You're certainly not recognized for your game development. I mean, if you've seen the trailer for her game, Revolution 60, it sucks. It's horrendous. It's essentially a mixture of Mass Effect and the Powerpuff Girls. If that. I'll leave a link to the video in the description so you can watch it. It's just horrendous. So she's certainly not known for making good games. And that's what most females in the video game industry are known for, making good games. She's known for the drama. She's known for being an attention whore. I'm sorry. She is an attention whore. What pisses me off the most is that she will do whatever it takes, even if it's unethical and downright fucking disgusting, to spread her narrative that, gamers are all just a bunch of misogynistic men that hate women and want to drive women out of the video game industry. You kicked out the Ralph retort out of one of your panels because, God forbid, and you guys are going to laugh when I tell you this, because he tweeted out a photo of her and she was stalking Twitter and she got so upset that she kicked him out of the panel. The Ralph retort was there to interview Brianna Wu about the whole Gamergate thing. And because he tweeted that photo, because God forbid, there's like 1,000 photos of you on the internet, she threw a hissy fit and threw him out of the panel. And this gets even more messed up. She tried to accuse the Ralph retort of doxing her family, saying that she was scared for her life and that he needed to be kicked out of the convention, which is known as RavenCon, entirely. She made it up, she pulled it out of her hairy ass to essentially portray this narrative that, Gamergate is just a movement of neck-bearded virgins. Oh my god. It's just disgusting. Like, why would you do that? Like, I was threatening to be doxxed once. Thankfully I wasn't, but I was. I have a video of that up on my channel. Leave an annotation in the description above so you guys can watch it. But I was almost doxxed once. That is a horrible experience. So the fact that you would lie and make a story up like that he doxed your family and, posted where you lived on the internet for everybody to see, all because he tweeted a photo of you, is downright disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself, but you know what? You don't have any shame. You don't. Because if you had any shame, you would realize that this stuff is wrong, but you're a narcissist. And she realizes that Gamergate, as a movement, has women in it. There's plenty of women in Gamergate, and she knows this. I refuse to believe anybody could possibly be that stupid. But they are. Shorehead is just one of the many examples of prominent female gamers. Hell, Not Your Shield, which is the sister hashtag to Gamergate, which is the spin-off, the companion piece, if you will. That's mostly composed of minorities. And it has women in it too. But it wouldn't fit in with the narrative she's trying to portray. And she'll go to mainstream media and she'll lie about, oh, these people are harassing me, and oh, Gamergate is so horrible, da da da. And the mainstream media will believe her because they're completely ignorant about video games and they still have this negative stereotype about what gamers are. And since they don't do any sort of fact checking, and actually do their job, she gets away with it, and that's the most disgusting part about it. And what's even more messed up is that the fact that she tried to link the murder of a woman who was viciously, savagely murdered by her psychotic ex-boyfriend to Gamergate, and tried to say that Gamergate supporters did this, and that she was afraid for her life that Gamergate supporters were going to do this to her. Fuck you. No, seriously. Deeply from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. You can go fuck yourself. And I hope somebody shoves a falcon wing up your fucking ass for that statement. That is disgusting. That's fucked up. And I apologize for all the swearing. I normally don't swear like this, but I'm sorry. That is just, why would you do that? I understand that you don't agree with what Gamergate is, and that's fine. You can have that opinion. If you think that I'm a misogynistic asshole, if you think I'm a neck-bearded virgin that hates women, you're entitled to that opinion. Sure, it's a very stupid, uninformed opinion, but that is your opinion. But the minute you do something like this to try to further your agenda, to try and garner attention for yourself, is the moment I check out on anything you have to say. Fuck you. Seriously. You can get fucked. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, you can get fucked. And anybody that supports you, social justice warriors and feminazis can get fucked too. Seriously, I don't care. Is there no lengths? Is there any sort of lengths that you're willing to go to garner attention for yourself? Why can't you just be known for making good games and build your career up that way? Well, why do you have to do this stuff? Because you hate men? Because you're a man-eater, even though you used to be a man? Oh, and then she came up with this nonsense about how people doxed her and that she was afraid for her life. But like Anita Sarguzzi and Zoe Quinn before her, that was proven to be fake. She made the whole thing up to make, again, gamers and Gamergate look bad. And there's evidence of this. I'll post it in the link down below so you can see it. But there is evidence of this. Seriously, it feels good to just completely unload on Brianna Wu. I've been wanting to do rant on this bitch for quite some time. And I don't care I'm using the word bitch, and I don't care it's a derogatory term in this case. I think the shoe fits. She is a bitch. Plain and simple, she is. To end this video off, I honestly think that the term feminism needs to come to an end. I really think it does. Because these fucktards, like Anita Sarkeesian, like Zoe Quinn, like Brianna Wu, these pieces of shit, have given the term such a bad name that nobody wants to associate with it anymore. It's now associated with this garbage. And well, yes, I know that feminism can do good, and I know not all feminists are like this, don't get me wrong, not all of them are like this. But honestly, it has gone to the point where, I completely have a distaste for modern day feminism. I don't even want to acknowledge it as a term. Joss Whedon was right. It needs to come to an end. Because people like Brianna Wu are giving it such a bad name. And feminism is a fucking joke. It is because of her. And if it's not feminists driving Joss Whedon off of Twitter because they didn't like the way a fictional character was portrayed to people intrinsically linking a murder to a movement whose opinion she doesn't agree with, it's just so messed up. It is. It's fucked up. It is. And feminism needs to go away, and the term needs to go away. Because this makes rational feminists look bad. This makes gamers as a whole look bad. And I'm embarrassed, not only for actual feminism, non-radical feminism, but it makes me embarrassed for the medium as a whole. You don't care about video games, you don't care about the medium, you're just using it for a quick buck. You are just using it to garner attention, fame, and fortune, because that's all you care about. You don't care about blazing a path for women in the video game industry. You don't care for being an inspiration to females that want to get into the video game industry. You're just doing this for yourself. And you claim to speak for a woman, even though you were a man for most of life. Fuck you. Seriously, go fuck yourself, Brianna Wu. Really. And I don't care. I absolutely don't care if you want to call me a misogynistic asshole, a neck-bearded virgin. You can call me every name in the book. You're a bitch. And quite frankly, I know this might offend some people, but I don't care. You're a cunt. There I said it. You're a fucking cunt. Anyways, that's all I gotta say on this particular matter. This is ThatKidDouglas, aka the End Hero, signing out. Deuces. Stay frosty and keep it weird. Take us home, Peter.
So, this is not Reagan?
No, it's Rich Little. He's an impressionist. He's been screwing with your head.
Well, this thing is worthless. like my Palestinian alarm clock. Allahu Akbar!